Why not to say, "That's so gay"? Things are what they are regardless of the names we give them. Red is the color red, even if we flip its letters around, and gravity still existed before we had a name for that thing which keeps us glued to the ground. Simple enough if we lived in a world of objectivity, but instead, subjectivity dominates. We're ridden by connotations and conformity, social norms and stop signs, rules which become second nature, automatic pilot. Things are what they are regardless of the names we give them, except since words are spoken through mouths colored by perspective, cuddling with culture, they're altogether altered in our mental representations. You and I can view the same picture and see different things, filling in what's between the lines uniquely with our minds to make the image ugly to us or beautiful. Even though we saw the same naked page of a coloring book and look, a lot of this coloring, conscious or not, is guided by what we've been taught to call things, the adjectives we use to describe them, and the associations, both thoughts and feelings, sewn by transparent string to those words within a given culture. It's the same hair, whether gray or silver, but the implications differ. Silver as classy, accomplished, and wise, while gray is an ugly nuisance, something to hide and hide from, an incessant reminder you're closer to dying. When I'm older, I'm going to grow silver hair. If I call a house old as we walk into it, it might make you notice the cracks in the paint more than the shiny new tiles. Expectations based on labels affect what we look to find in people, too. And while being called a name does not dictate a part of you, it can contribute to molding a part of you. Calling Sam reliable might spur him to take active steps to embody that term if he doesn't want to let you down, or if he really wants to believe it about himself and turn his life around. On the other hand, if you call Sam obscenely lazy, while it could challenge him to prove you wrong, it might enable him to sink more readily into fitting that description, even if it were previously untrue, allowing the adhesive of the label to absorb into his skin and dry like glue, because if that's how he thinks he's viewed, what's the point of trying to be otherwise? Or maybe he suspects you're right, so why fight it? And so being called a name can burrow subtly underground, affecting how you feel about yourself to better reflect it instead of the other way around. It's true that "that's so gay" has become stereotypical in our culture to say, but that's no excuse to continue spreading it. And what does that suggest about our society when we're still struggling through the LGBT rights movement? Listen. Claiming that we use that phrase without relation to anti-gay sentiment can't hold its ground when you look at how much legislative discrimination remains around. When called out about using the phrase, most people I've heard claim they're not homophobic, that they have nothing against gay people, and sometimes even that they have gay friends. If you genuinely mean the above statements, why do you insist upon equating gay with stupid, undesirable, and unfortunate? If you genuinely mean the above statements, then your use of the phrase illustrates that you don't think for yourself, think before speaking, or both. The word gay used to mean happy, and Mahatma Gandhi said that happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. That's So Gay was born and grew with this generation. What about the next generation of children growing up hearing stupid equated with gay being pummeled at them from all sides every day? What is that teaching them? We need to be planting seeds of acceptance and equality from a young age, not hate without reason, which can later emerge as senseless rage. So my psych textbook taught me that if we're aware of a stereotype attributed to a group we're a part of, that under pressure, if that stereotype is made salient, that despite our efforts, that we are likely to take steps and actions which affirm that stereotype. If Sam is gay and hears it equated as stupid enough in class, it renders him more susceptible to performing poorly academically out of anxiety. And for those honeys whose scales tip in favor of money over feelings, school districts would be doing better if That's So Gay were stripped from the floors, walls, and ceilings. We need to make our schools safer for LGBT youth and allies. In my opinion, it should be enough not to say "that's so gay" because it feeds the cycle of oppression and hurts millions of people's feelings, maybe even some of your friends' feelings, and they just haven't spoken up because by saying it you strip them of a voice.